That's role model is your mother, your father, and then the people from outside. So that's why I say, look at you.
From pain to purpose.
She give you 10 reins.
Okay.
And the ladies
Tore it apart.
Tore
Yes,
it apart.
yes.
Never gonna sell in my life. It's what? My soul.
Okay.
In my body.
Yes.
This is my story, my soul. She had alcohol addiction, young girl. I said I will never forget her. Right now, she's looking up to you. When you put lipstick, she's gonna put lipstick. When you put makeup, she's gonna put makeup.
Like it's going back to what we spoke about at the beginning, that the struggles. Welcome back to another episode, Kokstad Connect, with your host, Mr.Pato, the GOAT, greatest of all time, jack of all trades, master of my fate. Today I have an interesting episode with Siphokazi, but before I get into introducing her, I'd like to say, just for the people who are at home listening, that this episode is for the young and old. And after listening to this episode, you can't go back. You have no excuse, you know, because we're going to unpack. We're going to have practical keys as per book that it's written. So yeah, you have no excuse after listening to today's episode. Enjoy. I'm about to introduce. She'll introduce herself for me. Then we're gonna get into the episode. All right, guys, welcome. Thank you so much for coming to the show. I really appreciate your time. And finally, Deyenzeka. So I'd like to welcome you. I'd like for you to introduce yourself, just for the people listening at home.
Hi viewers, my name is Siphokazi. I'm owner of the Plains Guest House, a rapid transformational therapist and business executive coach.
Okay.
We are at number 123 White Road.
All right.
Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Mama, I want us to talk, I just want us to dive straight into it. You have a book that you have written. I've read the book, quite a phenomenal book. It's very practical. I believe I don't want us to get into it a lot because I want people to still actually get the book. It's still on the shelf, right? Yeah, I want people to actually get the book for themselves. So yeah, reading from your book, I saw a lot of things that are very interesting for me, especially on the second chapter. But I want us to first start from the beginning where everything starts. Where do you come from? What inspired you to write the book? How you grew up as a young woman? And what actually motivated you or inspired you to actually to channel yourself to the career you're actually at right now. So we can actually start by Ukulele P, and the type of person you actually are and how you've actually grown to the person you are today.
Yeah, thank you so much. I grew up in a small township of Bizwa, Mdantsane, Eastern Cape. I grew up there, and then when I got married, 2001, I moved to Kokstad. So I've been a Kokstadian. But back from my background is I've been from places to places, but I was born in Tanzania,
Yes.
NU3.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what inspired my book. What you will hear from my book, what you'll find out is how I have moved from places to places, from ages to ages, where I, as a young girl, I have never had a stable childhood.
Okay.
Where I'll say I'm a young girl, I mean this girl, I grew up here, because I was here once, and then the next time I'm here, the next time I'm here. Otherwise, I was raised by my grandmother. I'm a granny's daughter.
All right, beautiful. I saw from the book that, okay, you had a close relationship with your grandmother. I also read from your book in the first chapter that you started selling as a young teenager.
Yes.
And it was very surprising for me. It was very surprising because of who you are right now. You started as a hawker.
Yes.
Tell me about that. Because today you can actually compare how you felt and like how your mind was limited at that time and the things that you've actually accomplished today. So tell me about the time when you were a young girl, you were selling, you were still striving, and today things are going your way, if I could say.
Listen, that's exactly what happened. It all started when I was 8.
Okay.
When my mom came back and it was like she's taking back her kids. He wanted to be a mother. You know, our moms were those moms who would leave us with our grannies and they go look for job in Johannesburg. And when the life doesn't happen the way they do, they come back and they want to be mothers. But shame, she took me and I was happy with my grandmother, very much a happy child. And with my grandmother, she was always in the market.
Okay.
She was one person that loves business. She would do tomato and veggies every weekend because she was working with it. So every weekend we would go and take these things and go sell. So she named me a lucky child herself. So she would say, whenever I go out, I selling house to house. I was even less than 8 at that time. I would bring money. You understand? I always bring money. When I leave, I always tell her that I'm gonna bring money, and I will bring money. And that was driven by seeing her struggle. She struggles a lot raising us. Our grandfather was a very much abusive man. She abused her. She abused her to the core, and she wouldn't give her money. She would strive with the 10 rand that she had, and she would have to make. She had to look after us with that money while she has a husband at home. So I had to learn, see her striving and struggling like that. There was this one incident where she borrowed a 10 rands from this woman, and that was the thing. And this woman, like, I know she borrowed money, but I don't know how much it was. I was 3, 4 on that time, and when this woman came, she stand. Our home was next to the footpath. We call it footpath on the road. So this woman stood here, and my grandmother was stood here. I don't know. I was hiding somewhere there and just looking.
At that age,
early in the morning, yes, early in the morning at 4 a.m. She was like, I want my money, because I would always be pushing, dragging my grandmother's dress wherever she goes. Because I was that child who was clinging, because I was afraid of being left. All the time. So this woman came, and my mom, she's talking to her. It's dark. It's a bit dark, but it's light. Yes. My grandfather didn't come back home. It was a Saturday morning. My grandfather didn't come back home, and she comes, she asks, and she talks, and she's yelling at her, and my grandmother is talking. I'm very sorry. She gave her 10 rands. And the lady tore it apart. And my grandmother, and she insulted my grandmother in so many ways. That broke my heart. At a young age, I didn't know that. It only came back recently.
Yeah, those childhood traumas.
Yeah, it's those childhood trauma. Like, how can someone I love so much be treated like that? So in my life, I told myself that I would strive for the best. I will always help her put food in the table. So that's why whenever she said, go sell, I was the first child. I would be the first child to jump and sell, because she was a struggling woman. So, yeah.
That's so interesting, Mama.
So as we grew up, as I grew up, my mom came back and picked me up, and as she picked me up, she lost her job in the process. But she had to sell everything. She was the kind of person that she had alcohol addiction, where she would sell everything she wanna sell. So I was that child who would go and sell, because I'm called the lucky child, isn't it? You know, as children, what is implanted, what we are programmed in a very young age, what we grow up being called, is what we made ourselves to be. So I grew up as a lucky child. So I would go, I would go and sell curtains. I would sell cups and everything. If we want to sell, she needs money. I don't know what was that money for. I don't know what the selling is for, because at the end of the day, at night we eat. We have something to eat. So she had that problem. I guess in my life, I was programmed. I have developed something which is called I developed fear in my life of poverty. I thought I was like, I'm supposed to be, to play a role in every relationship that I am, everywhere I have. I have to be a provider.
Okay.
I developed that thing of wanting to provide wherever I am because it started at an early age. So that is why, but it helped me. At the same time, it didn't help me because from when I was 8, I had to make sure every day that I know how to say. I know if I say I'm gonna do something, I must do it. If I say if I start school, I cannot finish. Anything that I start in my life, I will finish.
Okay.
So I grew up that child that anything that I put my mind into, I do it. Because I wanna. My goal was like my grandmother. I think it was my grandmother because I was driven and unconsciously, because we do things unconsciously. If you see something and it says in your unconscious mind, because our mind is like a library,
Okay.
so it keeps everything, all the traumas and everything. That's what it does. So whatever that we kept there, we become
Eventually, we will
those
start
things.
becoming. Okay.
Because we think it is protecting us.
Okay.
But no, actually it's not. But our mind is made to protect us, to keep us alive. You know, anytime you feel anytime I see someone who's hungry and I'm thinking back to myself and like, it's me. I'm gonna work harder.
Yeah.
I can't be like there. You understand? So from 8, 9, 10, my mom will leave me from town to town. She will move from places to places. When I was 9, already I was on my own. I wrote in that book. When I was 10, Eshalumna, I stayed there with my sister, and then my sister decided, nah, this is not for me. I stood there because I wanted to finish school.
Okay.
And I ended up having to be stealing chickens for supper because she would leave. She would leave me from Chalum. Chalum is a rural area. And mind you, I'm coming from Mdanzane, and this is new for me. So she left me there, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to stay until the year end, because she stayed with us for a little while, and then she went and said she's looking for a job. As a young child, watching, whenever you see the dust coming, you're hoping that there she comes, but she never comes. You understand? So in the community, there were some other kids like me, homes where they were like only children and their parents. So I had a sister and a brother in that, because already we were not allowed to associate with the other children, because already we have a stigma. We have no parents. So, Jay, you can't play. It was a no-go. We were no-go kids. But we found ourselves at church, which is called London St. John's.
Okay.
So that woman would make sure that we have food at night. Whenever, even if you don't feel like going to church, you have to go to church later at St. John's, because you got your meal there.
Yes.
That's where we develop a skill, because now we're lazy to go to the church now. To church, we will steal chicken. So good chicken, man, and there's mealy. That's it. So that chicken, we will eat it maybe for 3 days. We'll go at night and hunt the chickens where we saw it. And we'll hunt it and we'll eat it. We 10, 11. And what does that does to our mind? What does that does to us? Already we set in that space that we are not wanted. We are not enough. We are not enough at all. And that's how I grew up. And year by year, it was one move after another. So I never had a childhood. I don't know what is the meaning of childhood. That's why I went through what I went through recently, because I want my kids to have a childhood. And my partner didn't see the importance of them having a childhood. You understand?
Yes.
And I tried to explain to him.
But then obviously there will be those
It's
differences.
not gonna, yes. At 15 already, at 14 already, I was a mother to my siblings. At twins, a boy and a girl. I raised them. In that process, I learned to hustle. In the whole process, I learned to hustle, to know good if I don't have something, I go to next door and ask for meal. I go on that side and ask for salt, then I would eat. So I learned that if I don't have, I would have to go out there and make it happen. So when I was 14, when I was raising my siblings, my mom left us. In that process, I was supposed to be looking after them. Now I had kids to look after at 14. So that's where I learned all that. I had to know how to wake up in the morning and hustle. And I have to know that these two are looking up to me. And in the same process, I have to keep up with the me I do not want to lose myself as a young girl, a daughter of. I used to love Jesus. My grandmother taught me this verse, Psalms 23. That's what always kept me going. And I didn't understand what was all about, what was that Psalms. But every day I would have to pray, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Make me lie in green pastures. So I didn't understand, but I would recite. So every day there would be someone who's willing to give us meal. There will be someone who is willing to give us rice and spice.
That is very interesting, Mom. I want you to touch on Gengogo from you being a youngster, a young lady. You are on the streets as a hawker. You are selling. Do you think that was your initial passion? Because I believe that every teenager or young lady, everyone has a dream. For who you are today, did you ever picture yourself as the person you are today from that young age selling? Did you have a picture of who you'll become, or was your mind limited to just? How was it at that time?
That time I saw myself as a doctor. I always wanted to be a doctor. How? I don't know. But I wanted to be a doctor. I saw myself as a doctor, and whilst I was on the street, there were so many ways, so many places, so many things that I could touch. I was a beautiful young girl, yellowish, with not figure. Like I was chubby. You always say I was the chubby young girl. Like all these boys were like,
Interested,
yeah. But going back where I said I was 14, then as we go down, I ended up having children of my own by being as a mother without being a mother. So as a child, I had all these dreams, and then the dreams were shattered by the fact that I had children. And then the stigma was more that someone like me will never make it in life. I will never make it. I will never have anything. This is my life. This is where I will be. But there's only thing. But I'll keep on selling. I never knew that there's something that is called a businesswoman. But I knew that I'm gonna be selling. But I'm not gonna sell one thing. One thing that I'm never gonna sell in my life is what? My soul in my body.
Yes.
This is my story and my soul. So there's no man who's gonna come into my life and say, I'll buy you KFC, or I'll give you AI for this so that you give me. That was the only thing that it was on my mind, because I don't know where was that coming from, but it was just that not selling my soul to anyone, to any devil, and I'm never gonna sell my body
to any man.
To any man.
For success.
For success.
Yes.
So I had, I was going to be, the community, when they saw what I was going through, they arranged a marriage for me to be married to a crazy man.
The community
Yes.
In the rural area of Kokstad?
No, in the shacks where we were living, Elinge. They saw, because now, our home was always, when you are a child, you always do child, you connect with people like you who have no parents. So we were like young girls and young boys will stay in one place and they were like, this is too much, and this girl is causing chaos. These children are causing chaos. we were just sitting and standing and smoking dacha and smoking,
Whatever
laughing.
it is, yeah,
Yes,
at that time.
yes. But because they think we were not up to no good.
And also, because I'm sure at that time there are no role models,
No.
or even a clear picture of success,
Yeah.
or someone close to you
Yeah.
that can be a motivation, yabo, to
Exactly.
see that, oh, okay, it's actually possible.
Yeah.
To
First
get
of
there.
all, in my family, that deep down, role models aren't see. None of them finished grade 12. None of them are big doctors. None of them have good jobs. None of them has husbands. So where am I going to get a role model? As a young girl, your first role model is your mother, your father, and then the people from outside. The thing that I've learned is that we as parents, we tend to forget that we are role models for our kids, and we tend to act like forget ukuthi these children came in this world just so they can see how we raise them, so that they can be take from us
You
and be
practically a guide,
better, because you are a guide, you are a nurturer, you are everything. Right now she's looking up to you. When you put lipstick, she's gonna put lipstick. When you put makeup, she's gonna put makeup. When you put a concealer, she's gonna put a concealer. When you drink alcohol, it's rare to get a child who doesn't drink alcohol at an early age. When she was on drugs, it's rare to find a child who's not gonna be on drugs, because that's the only person that you would see, until they realize at a later age that no, this is not what I want to be, who I want to be, because now they've already see the world and find their role model outside. Otherwise, from the early age, parents are the role models.
Beautiful background, Mama. Beautiful background, and I'm sure there are people at home who can relate, because the whole point of this podcast is for people to have a relation and to actually, see themselves. Because there are people who are gonna have a similar story, but then they don't have a way of getting out. And I'm happy that you are here today, because you have this background that you've spoken about. So that is, hence I said in the beginning, no one has an excuse after this podcast. Because starting from where you from the bottom to the top. But I like how you put your subheadings, where you said from struggle to strength, from pain to purpose. I want you to talk about the 7 keys or the strategies to success, or to finding your purpose, or to becoming, that you've mentioned in the book. But because I want people to read the book for themselves. So I want you to give me the practical ways of how a person who was limited as you are, who came from a very dark background, a very sad background. I want you, for someone who's at home who has a similar story, because as much as times are different from your time, but stories are similar. There is someone, especially in Kokstad or wherever, who has a similar background as you. I would like you for you to just give them ways of how, maybe resilience, is it what you call patience, or discipline, some sort of discipline, belief, spiritual belief, whatever it is, that got you to where you are today.
Okay. First of all, I'm not gonna give you. I'm not gonna. I want your audience to want to read this book. I want them to want to actually have their hands in this book.
Yes.
Because this book has it all. And it's a small book like this. And with the 200 rand that you will spend for this book, this is your life. Even your generations to generations.
This is a practical guideline.
Yes. So I'm not gonna be saying that. No, I'm gonna give you any insight on this book.
Okay.
I'm just gonna tell you that since you are asking about you spoke about
Practical keys, yes.
Struggle to strength. Let's say struggle to strength. My beliefs and everything.
Okay.
This book was. I was motivated to write this book from since then. It was just for me to put down the tools that I've used,
Okay.
but taking out from my own heart, from myself, what I've used without having to take what other people, like all the other people have been through. So when it's my journey that I develop these strategies. So
Struggle to
my
strength.
struggle to strength, coming from nothing to to be someone requires resilience, requires you discipline. It requires you to know who you are. Because when you knowing who you are and knowing who's for gives you that thing of saying, this is who I am, and this I will not I will not settle for this because this is who I am. So I wrote I from my strength, my struggles was to keep it being, to be the person that I want to be, the woman that I want to be, not the girl that sleeps through the trucks and go and hike and make the cent money. Like, there's nothing wrong with our sisters. That is the route that they see, it's an easy route. I told myself that I don't want to do anything easy in my life. Everything that I need to do, I need to, because I've got resilience. My grandmother told me that I'm a lucky woman, I'm a lucky girl. So I need to use this luck. There is something somewhere, somehow, that I can use it for. So selling for me was one of those things that I follow off, which I selling anything, being a retailer, being whatever. But I was struggling to keep at my my own, to be disciplined as me, to keep at it, to keep at my rules, to respect my rules as somebody else's rules. That as a young girl, I'm not going to go and stand there. Believe me, my friends, everything was open. Because already I had a stigma, a lot of stigma. So it was the fact of, I don't care anymore, I don't care anymore.
You've already been judged.
So I don't care anymore. So you can do anything in that process. But because of, I had to make sure that I am this woman that I am, and that the Lord is my shepherd.
I shall not want.
I shall not want. He makes me lie in green pastures. That, as I say to you, whom did I keep myself for? So I realized that actually I was keeping myself for the Lord, who is my shepherd. You understand? So going back to all the struggles were preparing me for this woman that I am today, that can stand in front of other young women, not to boast about what I have, but to say to her, you know what, I've been there, this is what happened to me, you choose your way. But knowing that you can make me a role model if you want, but you can be a role model of yourself first. You understand?
That's actually so true. There's one guy I spoke to, and he said to me one time that the most important role model is you. You must look up to yourself first. The image that you have of yourself, that futuristic image of yourself, is your role model. So I like when you say that. Just not to extend the time, I want us to get into the type of businesses that you are currently dealing with right now. You did mention a few before we were actually on air, but I want us to get into that.
Okay.
Yes, please.
What most people don't know about me right now is that as much as I have been traveling the world, I traveled the world, I was a multi-award winner.
Yes.
The business was running, and I was running a business, an empire that was turning millions. Yeah, yes.
That is so surprising. Like I'm like trying to picture it. Like honestly,
Because
when I hear the word millions, I'm going crazy.
I built out of nothing. That's where my strength struggle helped me. That's where all my struggles helped me. And I was blessed enough to meet someone who was a hard worker as a husband also.
Yes.
So we were pushing. So I did almost most businesses.
Which was your first successful business?
My first successful business, when I joined him, he was a retailer. I was on the street selling second-hand clothes.
Okay.
So when I joined him, he moved into the shop and changed all like he was selling second hands and changed them into shoes, new stock. So that was the first success because I was like, and he was like, yeah, you know what? And that was his business. He had a partner. I was just working, no salary. Yeah, no salary. It was just me giving what I have. So my first successful business was a construction company,
Okay.
which I started 2005. I was a supplier. And I was supplying hospitals with food.
How did you get into that? Like, for someone who's actually interested in that too, how do you get into that? Who do you speak to? Who do you deal with? Like,
So I registered the business 2005, but I didn't know what to do with it. You understand? So 2007, when things were not going well, that's where I decided, you know what, I need to do something.
okay.
In the retail, the business
Yeah.
was not doing well, so I need to do something. So I started selling shoes, Kokstad Cape Town, and then in that process, I was able to go into the departments and say I'm selling these shoes, and they would buy my shoes and pay on the 15th. So I saw that there was this thing about tenders and stuff. People were talking about tenders, and then when I end Kaya, you won't be able to go. Don't even. It's not for you. Hey, stick here. I remember this one woman who was a manager of supply chain there. Stick to what you do, girl. That's not for you. You have to have connections.
Yeah.
You must be ready to sleep. You must be ready to have connection. And the only connection you have to have money. Do you have money? You must make sure you give. You give, no? Not for me. But you know what? After I said to her, no, I went back and sat there and like, no,
Thought about it.
this company has to do something. This lady, you know, my problem in life, any of my competitors or whoever that needs to open the door for me, I'm going to say it in your camera.
Yeah.
The moment you say no to me, you're giving me the fuel.
Okay.
I don't believe in doors shutting on my face. She was a manager of supply chain, and I was like, Sissy, how do you, And like, no, not for you. Don't do it. She said, I don't know. Let me find out more. So I went and investigate more about these tenders. That was agriculture and public works. They were here at Rolex. Then I kept on going and asking people. Sometimes I found someone who's willing to explain how it goes. Sometimes I found people who are edgy. Sometimes but I said, with me, the only thing that you can, I don't think there's anything that can shut me because I'm a no. So if you say no to me, I'm opening the door. I'm gonna kick the door, and you're not gonna like it when you see me inside, because I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
So I always had that thing. I don't know where I got it from, but I always say I will find out, and I'm not gonna. Before the end of that year, I already was in the database. I already had orders because I was willing and I was ready and I wanted it. I was hungry for it. My first order was for the Department of Transport. It was a 30,000 rands business. And I spent 8,000 rand for books only. The books that was from the Department of Transport, it was not easy to get. Oh, you know all those sellotables, those tapes?
Yes.
Nobody knew how to get them. But I said, I'm going to find out and I'm going to know it.
Beautiful.
So that's the kind of person I am. I've never, I don't give up easily. And I make sure that whatever that I want to know, I know. Because we have all the resources. When I discover that I can actually get it all day one, And then I was
You knew
like,
that this thing is possible.
and I went into Matatiele. I was hiking, no transport. I would hike, take my documents, go places to places. Some people will be kind, some people will not be kind. A woman opened a door for me at Matatiele and said, I would help you. A woman, a young girl, Mapaseka, I will never forget her. Go into the database. You must ask for to enter into the database. Anywhere you go, ask to enter into their database and be a service provider, supplier. Then when I go there, I want to go into the database. I don't even know what is the database.
You know what? What I like is that how you grew up and that resilience you had from a young age is something you actually met up with also at an old age, because you had to go door to door from a young age, asking for salts, asking for... Yeah, well, like it's going back to what we spoke about at the beginning, that the struggles that you went through from a young age were preparing you to be who you are today. Yeah. Beautiful. I like that. Oh, people actually want more, but yeah, it's fine. So, what I want us to speak about, Ngogune, I want us to speak about the current business that you're focused on, because surely there is something that you're focused on. You did, when you in the beginning of your introduction, you did mention, I want you to speak about that, just for people to know, because I'm interested in those kind of topics. So tell me what you are focused on, Gogo, especially with all the things that you've been through, and the current business that you are focused on right now.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. When I get fueled up.
I like that.
First of all, I just want to finish it. There's just a little bit there. I just want to say to your audience, when you're hungry, when you are hungry, you cannot be hungry in your stomach. You have to be hungry for success.
You need to want it.
You need to want success, and you need to be ready for success, and you need to be ready for the journey. Don't sign up for the millions and the nice and the fame and everything. You have to sign up for the struggles. They humble you
and teach you, yes.
And teach you lessons, and be prepared and be ready to be humbled.
Okay. I like that.
Be ready to be humbled.
Because
no,
it's going to be roses and
no, never. There's no such thing. You must be prepared to be humbled. Okay. You must be prepared for the journey, not the destination. So in that whole process, it was preparing me to be. I went into construction. The construction company was doing supplying from the nothing to the top preferred service provider in the whole of hospitals in Eastern Cape. Most Eastern Cape, our friends, I was the best. They knew when they say carrot, when they say crunchy. I would go into finding out from. I had a manual, as to how the food that the patients has to be when it's delivered. I had that book, and I was like, I read that book, and I would put myself in the space where I'm a patient. Okay. What sort of food would I want to eat to heal? So I need to be delivered, and this food needs to be delivered on time. Not having money, but it will happen. I started with carrying milk at Spa, but I ended up being the first black young woman who was delivered. My milk was delivered by Honeydew. I had an account with Honeydew. Tideline Fisheries. I was the first service provider to bring it in hospitals.
Guys,
so I would go. I would want the best for the hospital, because I knew that I want to be the best. Because I want the best for me, I want the best for the others.
So it's not about being. It's not about just scraping through. It's about being the best.
Being the best.
What you're doing.
Being the best. And do the best. And it's not all about you. I realize that it's not all about you.
It's about God. It's about God. Oh, okay. I was about to say it's about people yourself.
Yes, you are serving. It's not, you're not serving you.
Okay.
You serve those people, but at the end of the day, who is happy with you? Who's opening more doors for you? He opens a lot of doors for me. Doors that I was human being think they could close. They closed. They sold them, but he kicked them. So that's why I say, look at you.
I'm really drawn in. I like this. I love success
So
stories.
coming from being a service provider, I met a lot of my fellow brothers and sisters. I tell, it's not about you. It's just not about you. You need to share. First of all, you need to share. They knew anyone who come close to me. When you are, even if you are a service provider that you want something, you want to know how I do it. I wouldn't stop. I wouldn't stop. I would stop anywhere and give you the pen and give you the details and tell you there's a tender in this place. The more I did that, the more God pour more. The more I give people information, is the more God fills me out. So that's where it came back and say, the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He made me lie in green pastures. He refreshes my soul. And my cup is on overflow. Remember, when I'm on overflow, I'm able to give. I'm able to flourish, to pour out into everyone. I was on overflow. I was on overflow because of God. So, went into hospitality. When I saw the tenders starting to, there was started into property.
Okay.
I own it. But when I was 26, man, when I owned my first property here in Kokstad. I was 26. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My first property was 26. Yeah. That's where I started to do guest house.
Okay.
I started my guest house. That was the second house, actually. The second house was 2007.
Okay.
This was like a little bit older. I'm boasting because I want you, my sister and my brother, to know that you can do it. A girl like from Magdalene Linge, like you did it. You can do it.
Yeah.
So
Beautiful. I love success stories. That is why I'm so drawn in. Forgive me, because I love success stories. So you have your first property at 26. So was it your initial idea to have a guest house?
Yay. The guest house was my dream because I love property. What drove me to wanting, I wanted a home for myself first. I was crazy to have a home. And I love to be in the property development business. And I even do the estate agent course at a later stage because of the love of property. So when I bought this place, my idea was, okay, me wanting a home, a shelter for myself. We were renting with my ex and the kids. So we wanted. Then when I went in, I didn't know that. I would say, no, man, we need to rent out. There's a need in Kokstad for this kind of place. Let us rent it out. Started renting out, adding rooms, and then already we had tenants. Let's go rent. We stay. We will rent house. And then we rent out that house. That house generated another house. I bought another house, a second house, 2 years down the line. That house, when I bought that house, I said, I want to make it a guest house. That is number 13 the Avenue, which is lateral. I'm gonna make it a guest house. And me and the agent that was assisting me on that time is like, yeah, you see, I put a fountain here. Put this. The house was in the state. It was just. It was not in a good state, but it was I'll put it here. I'll put it here. So I show her all these things, and we went for it and got the house. That's where the guest house started. Because I had already tenants here, so I could pay the bond for that house. With those tenants, we could pay for both houses. So we stay there in the lounge. We took the lounge, and then I said, the 4 rooms, we will make it a guest house.
Yeah.
Me, my children, and I had already I had two children.
That's
Two
actually
children. No, I had 3 children already at that time. I had 3 children. We're gonna be staying here in the lounge. My husband and I will stay here, and we'll use the kitchen.
Okay.
And then, and then it was like the whole forum
It's rented out.
I wanted to make a guest house because I made investigation because anytime I do something, I have to make an investigation.
Research,
Already, one of the guest houses down there was there, so I had to find out how did she do it. It was that thing of, you know what, you can't do it, and then I say I will do it.
Because I know nobody says no to you.
Nobody says no to Siphokazi. And I was like, I'm going to do it the same way that you do. I'm going to charge 100 rand a night. All I need is someone who's going to spend a night, 100 rand. Boy, I didn't know that it was the beginning of a good thing, a great thing in my life. So that forum's actually having to deal with the low class business, and I had to do it myself before I bring in people. Things that I was dealing with, but because I had that heart that come from
a young age, yes.
Yeah, and it was preparing me to be able to serve those people, as they need a place to stay. So as we lived here, there, year by year, the business grew. That's where I started. 2 years down the line, I knew that I needed to upgrade my standard. I need more clients. I need better clients who are going to behave better, whom my kids will not see doing these kind of things. That is, my kids, I abuse my kids so much. That's why I say it's very, in the process of wanting to saying I'm providing for them, I'm trying to provide for them. So they were limited in that space. You can't go this way. It's their home, but they can't go this way. You can't do this. You can't make a noise. No spoon must fall because there's a guest, So my kids grew up in that space, in that space where, like, they didn't enjoy life.
As much as like you said in the beginning that you wanted a childhood for your kids, but I'm sure right now the sacrifices you made at that time, you are reaping the fruits right now. I hope, and I'm sure, because they're not where you are, at least. But yeah, there's another question I had for you. I like how you've detailed everything out. I have a clear picture, and I'll repeat again. No one will have an excuse after this episode today. I want you to tell me about your daily life, your day to day, as a mother, as a woman, and as a businesswoman.
As a mother, my daily life. Right now, this woman that you see, because I had to learn a hard way, that self-love is not selfish.
Okay.
I had to learn to stop.
Self-love
is not selfish.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to learn. I was in that space where I wanted to repay what my kids went through, So I was overdoing everything that I was doing. I was overdoing, and then I got depleted in the process. That's where I went into the space of depression and everything, and I learned that self-love is really not selfish. So I am big in self-development right now. The tools that I have are in this book includes I meditate. I wake up in the morning at 5 a.m. I pray. I am spiritual. I love God. I pray. I speak to God, and I meditate on the Word, on His Word, and see what He says today. And then from there, after meditation, I go to gym, because self-love is not selfish. It's Siphokazi first, then it's God first, Siphokazi after, and then I can be on overflow and pour to my family, pour to my clients, pour to you when I meet you on the road. I don't want you when you meet me on the road right now and like, what's her name again? I need you to see Siphokazi. So I exercise a lot. I changed my diet. 4 years ago, I went into going through talking about healing, it involves changing your diet, changing everything, your
You did
biochemicals.
say it's a 360.
360 degrees. You cannot change, say you are another person, you evolved, and you were eating dumplings. Now, last year you were eating dumplings, 86 kgs, and then ujima, and then on the weekend uphinde utye dumplings, uphinde wenza uthi ke ngoku sowuyazi unolwazi olumo, you still gonna do the same. So you are another person. The way you eat has to be different. You have to be different, and you have to eat for your success, because I need to run around and jog around businesses, and I need to be right now I've got about 18, 20 people, 30 people who needs me, except for my clients. 30 people that every day I need to deal with. Not except for you. So how can you eat? You have to eat according to
The lifestyle.
you understand what you are, because even the success that you want, you need to eat like a successful man or a successful woman. You can't be eating continue eating like you were eating 5 years ago, and still now you are a millionaire, you still eat the same way, with the stresses that are going on, because stress does a lot. It develops a lot of disease. Most of the disease that we people we suffer from, it's due to the diet, it's due to the stress, it's due to the not taking care of ourselves. So, and it's her self-killing, because I'm the person who doesn't want to go to the GP all the time, practice on me, doctors to practice on me. I just
You
have
believe
to
that
go.
healing is possible.
We were meant to heal ourselves. We were created to heal ourselves. We were created to heal even.
Because the body is actually designed in that way.
When you cut yourself here, when you have a cut here, the doctor will give you betadine and what, or you don't go to the doctor sometimes. What happened? It does heal. And why? How? It's because your body
Naturally
is designed to heal. Why can't you use that in every aspect of your life? In everything we are struggling with. Like, really, when you put the right food and you rest, you give yourself time, you meditate, you spend your time with things that you like, doing things that you like out in the nature. The sun is our healer. Depression, when I feel anxiety, the first place I go to, every morning when I wake up, I have to go outside to say, thank you, Lord, for the sun. The sun ray must hit my body, because already that I'm healed.
I like that. I like that. Mama, this is very interesting. I believe we need a part two. But the part two, I want it to be specifically on, you see the conversation we're having currently? It's very practical. It's very practical. And I feel like people deserve that one. Yeah, I feel like people deserve that one. Mama, before we end the show, we appreciate you. Siyabulela ufika kwakho ne. Thank you so much for the information that you've shared with us. Yabonakala, you are the person you say you are right now. But before that, I'd actually want to ask you, how can we remember you? How do you want us to remember you? One day, when God has said, okay, Siphokazi, your time is done. Well done, come back home. How would you like the people who are left behind to remember you?
I want them to remember by the way I love them. I want them to remember that
because from what I see now, you've practically shown that it's possible.
I love them, and
that it's possible.
I live to be a beacon of hope.
Okay.
That's what I aspire to be, and I want them to remember that we can do anything that we want to be in life. I want them to remember that Mr. Pato is that person who said we can be anything or anyone that we want to be. And I want them to remember how I love them. I love people. I love God. And the reason I love people is because the moment, the day I knew that I was created by the image of God, when I see you, I see God in you. So I always want to touch that part of you, which is godly, because I know no matter how hard you are on me, I always know that you got that soft part in you because you are God. So I love you. My weapon is love. I love my enemies. I love my friends. I just love. Woo!
Thank you so much, Mama. Yeah, I think we're gonna wrap up today's episode. Very transparent. I still say no one has an excuse after today's episode, and I'm very keen. I hope I'll set another appointment for you. Hopefully, like, because when you got busy anytime soon, so we can have a part 2. I'm interested in part 2 because we've had this conversation before. I remember we once spoke at my workplace, and I'm very interested and I'm obsessed with things about the mind. I want us to have that specific episode. But yeah, for today, I would like us to close it off. And thank you so much, Mama. I appreciate you coming through today, and thank you for sharing and not being selfish. I appreciate it. Cool. I think we can close it off, bro. I don't know. Is there any shout outs? I don't know. But yeah, for me, from my side to everybody at home, please share, subscribe, and follow. But share mostly. Share, and watch. Thank you so much. Right here, I've got the personal assistant, Siphokazi, who will be letting people know of where you guys can find them. Let her speak for herself. Welcome on the show. Welcome on the seat, if I should say. Yeah, okay. Tell us, okay.
Thank you. Siseko, igama lami Nomfundo, personal assistant Siphokazi. So, okay guys, siyafumaneka number 123 Main Street behind Loafers Cafe. Sifumaneka phayana. Number yethu ku-072 978 0816. Enye ku-039 727 1316. And get ebook, it's only 200 rand. Our website is www.siphokazidm.co.za.